Welcome to Digital Publishing Online, and I'm Lisa Gabrielle. And in this video today, we're going to talk about how to search for images on the internet and locate high resolution quality images that you can use for your projects. More than likely, most of the projects that you use that you're working on for this class and other classes are going to need images that are of high quality. And a lot of times you might, in the past, have done searches on the internet and located images and brought them down and proceeded to use them in a project and found out as you were working with them that they were, for one, low resolution, and for two, not big enough for what you were needing them for. So what I'd like to talk about is how to locate images on the internet that are the proper resolution and can work for most of your projects, especially projects in this class where you're working on a brochure and postcard design that requires you to use images at least 5 by 7, if not 8 by 10 in size. So let's get started. First thing you're going to need to do, and I usually use Google because that's what browser or at least search engine I'm most familiar with. So I'm going to recommend you use Google. And if you're not familiar with this window here, you can basically just type in google.com and this will come up and you'll get a little button. Let me go back one here. It'll look like this, and you'll have a little button up here that says images. You can click images here and it'll get you to the image search area of Google. And you put your topic in. We're going to search for some ducks today. So I like ducks. It's spring. The ducks are out. And you could see that Google has found thousands and thousands of duck pictures. Well, not every picture that you're looking at there is going to be applicable to the projects in my class. Number one reason, because most of these images, at least from a general search like this, are going to be low resolution or way too small for what you need them for. So what I'd like to show you here is how to sort of drill in and use the search features in Google to locate images that are high quality and high resolution. Okay, across the top here you have a bar of navigation. And at the end of the navigation, you have this area called the search tools. We're going to click that, and it will open up another set of navigational tools below that. The first one here is the size option, and we're going to go ahead and set this. So let's pull down the size option, and we're going to pull down to larger than and over to 2MP, okay? Which is telling us that Google is going to search for images that are at the minimum 1600 by 1200 in size, or 2MP. Most of the time you could find an image in this search here based on these parameters that will work for most projects. So I recommend that students start here and use 2MP. I mean, you can search out 4MP, but I think it's kind of overkill. I think you can, it'll actually find things that are 2MP and larger. That's megapixels is what MP stands for. Okay, so we're going to select that. And notice a lot of the images that were there have gone away because a lot of the ones that were first listed there were probably not applicable or too small in size. The second thing you want to do here is, and again, you can search for color. I'm not going to recommend that, but you can just to pull down some of these menus. What kind of image are you looking for? Is it a clip art piece or a line drawing and a photo and such? I'm going to stick with photos or any type at this point. A time, is it a recent image? How long has it been on the internet? I don't really care. I'm just looking for images of ducks. The other area that's pretty important and relates to this project, and most projects you work on in my class, is the usage rights. And in this particular case, you're a student and you are covered under the Fair Use Clause, which says that as a student you can appropriate or reuse images for learning purposes, which is what you're doing. So we're going to go ahead and select the labeled for non-commercial reuse because this is not a commercial situation. It's an educational situation. You can pick either or, actually. I'm just going to select the labeled for non-commercial reuse. And if you're planning on actually modifying the images, like if you're going to do Photoshop work to them, I would select this one, but we're just going to maybe possibly just place the image into InDesign and use it as is. So we're going to just select this labeled for non-commercial reuse. Okay. And that further, drills down your search. And then I guess there's some other features here for show size. I also like to put this on because that will show me below the image about what the size is. So looking at these images now, I can kind of see that most of them are probably going to work for my project. So what's the next thing we do? Well, let's say we decide on an image we want to use. Like, I really like this first image here. So you click on the image. Okay, and it'll show you a close-up, and you say, that's exactly what I want. I want that image. I would like to use it in my project. Well, there's a couple things you're going to need to do. First is, like I mentioned in the assignment or the project report write-ups, you need to keep track of all of your citations and the location on the internet where you found images. So what I recommend for students is that they open up either a text edit document like this. I'm just going to go ahead and open up a new one here. We'll just go new and have this here kind of showing. And then we're going to go back here. Okay, so I have a blank text edit document or a notepad document if you're on the PC, whatever. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit view image. At this point, it's going to show me the image at its original size, which I'm going to determine at this point. Is that big enough for what I need? And absolutely, it looks like it's at least an 8 by 10 image. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to capture by just selecting the URL and copying it, Command-C or Control-C on the PC, and come back to that text document, and we're going to paste it in here. Okay, and I'm going to also add some information above it so that I can identify it. Duck shot number 1. Or maybe I can be even more descriptive. I could say red beak duck shot. Okay. All right. So now I've captured my URL. Now what would this be useful for when you create your bibliography? I'm also recommending that you save this document with your materials for this project, and you call this your bibliography because this is what you're going to use to create your report this week. Okay, so let's go back to here. Okay, so now at this point, what I would do is I would either right mouse click on the image and do a save as, and this window will come up. Now, at this point, you should save your file into your organized project area. So in other words, if I go into the testing area where I create all these demonstrations, which is actually on my desktop here, and then it's in my teaching materials and in digital publishing, and then I actually have a folder in here called Working with Photos. That's today's demo. So in this folder, I would double click and create a folder in here called Images. Now in your case, you'll probably have a project folder, and inside your project folder, you will have a folder called Images. Okay, so I just created a folder called Images, and I'm going to save this image into that folder. Okay, so now what I've showed you here is how to locate a high-resolution image, how to save that image to your local computer, and how to document the citation or the location of where that image was found on the internet and paste it into a text document. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about in the next video is how to open this image up in Photoshop and set the right resolution for it. So in the following video, I will go ahead and review that.